introduction of myself, and then I'll pass the mic to our guests here. As most of you here in our Discord and our community know me already, I'm Andre. I'm the head of DeFi sales for LI.FI. With this being said, thank you, thank you, Javier. Thank you very much, Frank, for joining us today. We're all very eager to learn more about your platform. And to start, could you provide us with, a brief introduction of who you guys are, and then we can go into understanding more what Summer.FI is.
Sure. Yeah, I'll kick it off. I'm Frank Brinkamper. I'm working on Summer.FI, previously Oasis.app, for 2.5 years now. We were first part of the Maker Foundation, and when the Maker Foundation decentralized itself, we split off as our own startup. And since I've been working on it since the Maker Foundation times, and I'm a product manager at Summer.FI. Over to you.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Frank. Hey guys, well, my name is Javier, and I've been working in Summer.FI for a little bit less than a year, so I'm not here since the Maker Foundation days. But yeah, like everyone, I had a 9-to-5 job and then met crypto, and that's it. No more jobs, just crypto. So yeah, here I am.
Thanks, guys. All right, so to start, could you guys provide us with an understanding of what Summer.FI is? And we'll get to the MakerDAO relationship and integrations down the line, but we're particularly interested right now in the problem that Summer.FI is solving, and how it adds value to the whole DeFi ecosystem.
Yes, sure. So what Summer.FI, we've recently changed the name to Summer.FI as we want to trigger DeFi summer again. And we love the sunshine, of course. But what it is it's the best place to borrow and do more with your assets in crypto. So right now there's over 2.5 billion being managed through Summer.FI by our users, and up to last week that was all on Ethereum mainnet, and starting since last week now we've opened the doors to the smaller users again, who can open positions on Optimism. So yeah, that's on a really high level what Summer.FI is, but it's basically the best place if you want to borrow against your crypto.
Thanks, and yeah, very interesting. So we understand the purpose and the value proposition of Summer.FI now. I know that there's a story behind every kind of transformation out there, and you mentioned that the DeFi summer, that all of us are waiting for it again to happen. But maybe you guys could share more with us on why Oasis.app has rebranded to Summer.FI, and more specifically, how does this change and reflect the team's vision for the future platform?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Well, mostly I thought there were two main reasons. One, like Frank said, Oasis, now Summer.FI, started with the Maker Foundation a couple of years ago, but right now we're not only the front end from Maker, so we wanted to detach a little bit from that really strong relationship. And another reason was that there are a couple more players in the industry that are also named Oasis, like Oasis Foundation, I think, of the Oasis network. So that was another reason to stand up for ourselves, and could create our own brand. Right now, what we're building is some multi-protocol DeFi ecosystem, not only the front end from Maker. So that's what we wanted to do with this new rebranding.
Thanks, Javier. Okay, so this brings clarity about the rebranding, but as a follow-up question here, and now we can maybe go a bit, deep in the history of Summer.FI and back then Oasis.app and the relationship with Maker Protocol. And I've noticed that you guys also have, some kind of integration relationship with Aave. Could you explain those integrations and how these three platforms work together to enhance the user experience? And also, you can start with the history and now where Summer.FI is, like from the user perspective, and what you guys are offering for the user.
Yeah, so indeed, we started off as being the front end for the Maker protocol. But what users are coming to us for is they come with assets and they want to see, can I in a safe and decentralized permissionless way get access to liquidity, either just to borrow, to, for example, give yourself a mortgage, or to buy more assets. And when just supporting the Maker protocol, people were like, well, Maker doesn't always have the best rates, so then I need to go elsewhere to find those to get a better loan. So we also integrated with Aave, and the idea is basically to integrate every high quality lending market and just offer the best rates that DeFi has have to offer, and not really opinionate between them, and let the user decide what risk versus reward is best for them.
Got it. So, okay, so this integration with, multiple lending protocols offers, a lot of synergies. So I've noticed on Summer.FI, and I'm actually, a user there. I love the platform. But just for sake of explanation for everyone, I've seen various products such as Borrow, Multiply, and Earn. Could you help our users understand the difference between these products and how they can be leveraged for maximum benefits, not for maximum financial perspectives, not financial advice here?
Yes, indeed, nothing here is financial advice, but indeed the differences between these products is, well, Borrow is the vanilla functionality that the protocol offers. So Maker and Aave, just depositing collateral and then drawing debt, and that's it. When users enter a multiply position, we help the user utilizing the borrowed funds and immediately getting extra exposure to their assets. And we have built contracts on top of both Maker and Aave to allow users to use flash loans, so that it's really easy to go from just holding ETH, for example, to now getting 5 times exposure to ETH, all in a single transaction. And so that's Multiply. You could see this as leverage-like trading, but the difference with leverage is that it's often synthetic, and here you are really holding the underlying fully self-custodial. So let's say you're long ETH, then with Multiply you are actually holding the ETH itself, and not just a synthetic contract on a centralized exchange, or on an other like leverage platform like GMX, for example. And then lastly, the earn products. The earn products are products where you can earn more passively. So Borrow and Multiply are both really active products where you need to actively manage your liquidation. And with Earn, we try to offer products which are more laid back. So, for example, there you can enter the DAI savings rate, also called the DSR, and just enjoy the rate that Maker offers, which is currently at the 3.49%, for example. You can just enter that and enjoy that rate. And there are a ton more Earn products upcoming, but I can talk about that at the end.
All right. So a few, or maybe a more complex follow-up question here. So borrow is pretty straightforward. You put in your ETH as collateral, and you can borrow against it with a classical loan-to-value process. Walk us through again, please, through the multiply product. So if I understand correctly, you can basically borrow multiple times. So you're basically looping your borrowing. But if I don't want to have a very high loan to value, and I want to be on the safe side of things, how is it beneficial for a user, or why is it beneficial for a user to multiply if they can already borrow?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So indeed, how this works. Let's do a very specific example. You start with 10 ETH, and you want to get a fully decentralized, self-custodial 2x position with your ETH. Now, if you then go to Summer.FI and you would open a borrow position, you would need to first deposit your ETH, then get out some DAI. But to do that safely, you, for example, first take out 5 ETH worth of DAI, go to the market, swap your DAI for more ETH, again deposit that ETH into the product, and do that loop again. So what Multiply does is we make it completely in one transaction by utilizing flash loans. So with the same example, you start with 10 ETH. Within the transaction, we flash loan another 10 ETH, so that in total you now have exposure to 20 ETH. That 20 ETH is deposited in Maker, for example. Then we borrow 10 ETH worth of DAI. That 10 ETH worth of DAI gets swapped for 10 ETH, and the flash loan gets paid back. And by this, you now have a 2x position. Your collateralization ratio, or LTV, will be your loan to value will be 0.5, and you just had to do a single transaction, which makes it very easy. And so this is the setup process. And what the other benefits of Multiply are is that you can also adjust these positions, adjust your loan to value on these positions without additional collateral from your wallet. It's just drawing debt or using some collateral to pay back debt to do so.
Got it. And for the Earn products, I see that there are some STETH ETH yield loop. So does this mean that this is basically a pool in which already does this kind of looping, but you're not getting the risks of having the loan or carrying the loan with you?
No, so these actually do also have the loan, but the chances of liquidation here are a little bit reduced, because you are not going because you are going long the liquid staking derivative versus ETH. So you are borrowing ETH instead of, for example, USDC. So like where the ETH USDC price is very volatile, the staked ETH price is not volatile. So like the amount of management that you need to do on such a position is a lot less. So just to fully explain that product, because I stepped over that part. You with these earn products, what you can do is you enter with let's say 10 ETH, and what happens within when you open a position is you can get up to 10 times staked ETH exposure, but you have to borrow ETH for that. So you will earn like the net result is that you can get like 10 times the yield that you would get on staked ETH, minus 10, about 9 times the amount that you're paying on the ETH that you're borrowing from Aave v3 or Aave v2. We offer the products for both versions of Aave on mainnet at the moment. So yeah, that strategy, especially before the withdrawals were live on Ethereum mainnet, was very, very attractive, as it was yielding like 15% sometimes. But at the moment, it's still yielding better than just holding staked ETH. So yeah, these positions are really good, as they're reasonably safe. Obviously, not financial advice here, but yes.
So, and yeah, final question here about this product. So, what's the risk of liquidation then if I'm doing the earn product with STETH, which are, assuming that they won't lose the peg? Are there, like assuming that the peg will always stay the same when I'm in a position, are there any kind of risks there for liquidation for the user?
So, like, assuming the peg holds is the definition of holding the peg is in this case is that Chainlink, which is the Oracle provider for Aave, is correctly passing the price of staked ETH in ETH terms. And as long as that happens and that stays in a reasonable ratio, there are no risks of liquidation. But the nice thing about Summer.FI in comparison to some of our competitors who offer similar products is that we allow you to choose the liquidation ratio. So if you if you look on chain and you see that there are, for example, a lot of bigger positions that are taking it quite risky, you could also take it a little bit less risky and not leverage all the way up to 10x, but go to, let's say, 3x or 5x or whatever.
I see. These products really offer a broad spectrum of opportunities for the users, and I can see that you guys are basically catering for any kind of user, like in terms of from the more risk averse spectrum to the more risk lover. And given the TVL, I guess that this Summer.FI is pretty well heavy. And it seems that you guys are very much battle tested. But still, I wanna ask this question, as you are very user centric. I must ask about security. So it's a top priority for all of us in the space. And how does Summer.FI ensure security of funds and in trust with the whole platform?
Yeah. Yeah, so indeed, like you need to trust a lot of things still in crypto. Like if unless you are completely running your nodes locally, then and interacting with it fully locally, then you have to trust a lot less. But if you're using products, there's always a piece of trust that you have to put that that product is run well. So security really is our number one priority to to make sure that people like to interact with us. So you can read all about the complete measures that we take on Summer.FI /security. But we first of all we only integrate with the best. So the Maker protocol and Aave are really battle tested already, but most importantly, take really a lot of scrutiny when it comes to things like audits, and just have great engineers working for them. So often, like the funds are secured by those contracts. But in the case for automation, for example, which are additional products on top of Borrow, so that you can set up Borrow and Multiply, so that you can set up, for example, a stop loss. We have the biggest stop loss product in DeFi that secures the most amount of funds. And this has been heavily battle tested as well by both audits and just being Lindy, which means that it's just out there in the wild for a long time. And it's also fully immutable. So there is no way for us to make changes to our smart contracts. So that's quite drastic, and that's definitely different than our competitors. But we just trust that we've built it in a way that we don't need to make changes. So yeah, that's that. And lastly, we also continuously are running a bug bounty program with Immunify. So if anything is found, then we can easily make the changes required and make sure that it's handled safely. And there's significant rewards being paid out if people find anything.
I'll quote you on this one. We only integrate with the best. Summer.FI has integrated LI.FI. Thank you, Frank. I hope that you also thought of us when you said that, but probably it was a different context. And that's guys, how things get out of context, and you end up reading news that it's not let's say the best or the best well spoken, but in this case it is, because Summer.FI did integrate LI.FI's cross-chain widget, and I'll let Alex at the end of this AMA, so please stick around to hear more about that, and about some prizes and about the whole campaign that we have around here. But until then, thank you, Frank, for that on security. Your security is commendable, clearly. Another aspect that, shifting from security, from one user concern to the other, is about liquidations. And on-chain liquidations, they usually work, but there were time in history in which things got very nasty on-chain. So how does Summer.FI handle liquidations, and what steps can users take to protect their vaults from being liquidated?
Yes, and just to comment, yes, definitely. We also looked into how LI.FI is caring about security before we decided to integrate with you guys, and by trusting in your process, we felt that it was all right to go ahead with that. And then on the liquidations, so we ourselves don't liquidate. We only save people from liquidation. So people that hold their positions through Summer, they actually have positions in the underlying protocols. So Aave and Maker at the moment. But if if a user is afraid of liquidation, then they have multiple things that they can do. But the most important thing is that they set up a stop loss. Because setting up the stop loss it's really easy. You only pay for the setup, and you don't pay any fees for the setup, but you only pay the fee if it actually gets executed. So if you don't ever need to have it executed because the price never reached your stop loss, then that's really great, and you never end up paying a fee, and you will just save yourself from liquidation that way. So yeah, that's just great.
Thank you. This is very insightful. And now we're going to my favorite topic, multi-chain, cross-chain, and with Summer.FI's recent expansion to Optimism, users are very excited about the potential improvements and the opportunities that this offers them. Could you guys please elaborate on the specific benefits that this expansion brings in terms of functionality, transaction costs, and overall user experience that you're offering there?
Yeah, I'll take this one so Frank can take a rest. So in terms of functionality, these are the same battle tested products that we use on mainnet, but now, of course, they get a lot cheaper, and faster. So with this being cheaper and faster, you can, for example, create new kinds of strategies that you couldn't do on mainnet, or it's just still very expensive. Like, for example, a DCA, or maybe if you're like a scalper trading, you can do like a multiplied scalp on Optimism right now. You can long ETH, and for like pennies, maybe a $50 or $100 transaction on mainnet ends up being paid like 25 cents on Optimism. So this opens a lot of new doors for new strategies and better user experience in the end.
Well, that's impressive, and the move to Optimism certainly appears to be a game changer. And of course, I'm biased. Like I love seeing dApps and projects going on different chains and offering more opportunities for their users. So in a related vein, Summer.FI's partnership with LI.FI for the multi liquidity widget has been in the news. But another question, which might be more philosophical, or like what brings the future, with the emergence of multiple blockchains, where do you envision Summer.FI in the future? Or more precisely, do you envision a multi-chain future or a cross-chain future? And by multi-chain, I mean, simply multiple blockchains, users being aware of it. And by cross-chain, it's basically overcoming the isolated nature of individual chains, all communicating in a seamless way, which seems very utopic right now.
Yeah, so at the moment, I think we're definitely in the multi-chain era, and not in the cross-chain era. So if you would compare it with the traditional finance system, I think at the moment, let's be real here, you still have to, if you go to L2Beat, for example, you still have to trust a lot of the aspects of, for example, Optimism or Arbitrum, which are the biggest two layer 2s right now. That everything is handled according to the intention. Comparing that to the traditional finance system, that is a little bit like using as a single commercial bank. So we need to take the step back, take a next leap, and make sure that you are resilient to a single bank failing, and yeah, fully make sure that you don't have to trust anything anymore. So that's the steps that like the layer twos have to take in order to go from this multi-chain where you're indeed aware of each and have some explicit trust assumptions, to cross-chain where you don't have these trust assumptions anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with this. Like, even though I think that there might be a future with cross chain, we clearly live now in a multi chain system in which bridges are doing a good work. There are options for the users, and projects like LI.FI, which are aggregating everything into one, are probably the best solution right now, so that users are being always quoted a fair price and a fair execution price and a fair execution speed out there. Okay, so going forward, we're getting close to an end here, so I'll ask you guys, what are some future plans and developments for Summer.FI, and are there any features, improvements, new chains that users could look forward to? Also, I always like to ask the alpha question at the end, so only the users that stick with us and uh, went through the whole AMA to get this kind of information. Yeah, so let us know what's next for Summer.FI.
So you're looking for the real alpha now. So
Yes, indeed.
we have a very exciting weeks ahead. So it's looking that next week we will onboard a third protocol, a third lending market. With that, I mean to Summer.FI, which is the then to be launched Ashna, which is a Oracle-less protocol, which is a complete like next iteration of how lending markets look like. So we're very excited for that, and there will be additional incentives for users that go into Ashna through Summer. And on the L2 side, we've just launched Optimism. We will launch Arbitrum as well in not a too distant future, where you will be able to access Summer.FI's multiply products on Arbitrum. And there, you can also expect some if you use the Optimism version, you can expect some nice rewards that we worked together with LI.FI on. But that's coming in like the next 2-3 months, in like those 3 things that I talked about, with just lots of improvements to like the user experience in general, coming all throughout those months.
Okay, so to recap for our users, I took some notes here. So yeah, don't mind me, Frank. That I'll recap this. So you guys will have a new lending protocol which you'll onboard. Ajna, guys, please give it a search on Twitter, AGNI. Also going to Arbitrum. I've heard.
Just to correct, it's AGNA.
Oh, AGNA. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, AGNA. I also heard the word rewards there. Also for Arbitrum, from Optimism, for Ajna. Not sure where those rewards will be, but for our users, I guess that like always in DeFi, being curious, clicking around, being a user, it's ultimately the, you know, the best way in which to position yourself to be there for, you know, any kind of future rewards. We're not sure what those rewards will be, but again, like, at least that's my strategy always. Like, just be curious and be a user, and tell me frankly if I'm wrong, or, you know, if users should do anything else differently.
No, that's right. You can follow our all our socials as well, or join our Discord, and you'll be kept up to date there.